Well, the theme for today, for Signature Style Saturday, is don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Something I am so guilty of. I am going to place a bet that a lot of you are too, because we all kind of like the same things. We want beautiful presentation. We want to set the beautiful table. We want it to be in the perfect garden. We have this really unrealistic expectation of ourselves. And I think all too often we think everything has to be perfect before we just go ahead and do what it is we want to do, before we go ahead and execute. And so that is our theme for today. And I'm going to show you lots of things that I am doing that are far from perfect. They're cheats, they're shortcuts, but nevertheless, when my guests arrive later tonight for a Weenie Roast, I don't think anybody will even care. So what do you say, Stuart?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, the first thing that is not perfect about tonight is that in my imagination, when we were going to be eating outside for a Weenie Roast, the weather was going to be perfectly autumnal, cool with a breeze, sweater weather maybe, and we would all warm ourselves by the solo fire pit in the backyard. We still have heat. We are 14 degrees above normal. I think the high today is still 89 or 90. Tonight it will be pleasant. It will be beautiful, but it's not going to be cool, and it is certainly not going to have that classic sweater weather feel that I was hoping for. But you know what? I can't control everything, and I certainly can't control the weather, and it's just one of the areas of perfection that I am just going to have to dispense with, because I want to see these friends. A couple of them have really had a challenging, 6 weeks, 2 months, one thing after another. And I just really wanted them to feel like they were being treated a little bit and that they just had some good companionship. Another couple, some friends we just haven't seen for a long time since we moved. And so I decided, Linda, just go ahead and do it. Do something easy. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about friendship. And what could be easier than having a Weenie Roast? And so that's what we're going to do. I never eat like this, you guys. I never eat hot dogs. Sadly, Hubs doesn't get to eat hot dogs or brats or things like that. But what could be easier? So we just got out our hot dog sticks from the garage. I cleaned them off. We're going to set it up like a picnic table in the backyard, and everybody is going to roast their own weenies. Now, the only extra trouble that I went to was that we went to a local business because we want to support our local businesses. It was kind of a field trip. We'll put up some pictures here. And we went to Schwab's, which is just, Stuart, not even 5 minutes from here, off of Western, like 7th and Western or something, just before you get to Linwood. It was a fun place. They sell retail, and we just went in and we got our brats and our hot dogs. We enjoyed visiting with the people there, and it was like a little mini excursion in our own neighborhood. So we'll put up a link here to Schwab's in Oklahoma City, because we just thought that would be a fun thing to do rather than just getting Oscar Mayer wieners from the grocery store. And speaking of, that was our next outing. Hubs and I, we never go to the grocery store together. So we did just that, and we got all the stuff that you get when you are going to throw a Weenie Roast. And I mean, what is more unhealthy, what is more decadent, but what is more beloved than Lay's potato chips? So got some Lay's potato chips, and we got barbecue, and we got regular flavor, and that's my question of the day. Do you too love Lay's potato chips, and do you ever serve them when you're entertaining? When, at least on an occasion like this where you're actually eating at home and it's not for a picnic or something. Now, this reminds me of a really special story of the quintessential doyen of taste, Bunny Mellon. She used to serve Lay's potato chips in silver bowls, and she would have her servants and things pick out all of the potato chips that were not broken. So that was a real treat, and she would serve them like with champagne and stuff to her fanciest, diplomats and things. And I think of Lay's potato chips whenever I think of that. Okay. I didn't want to make anything for dessert because sometimes these kinds of things are all about dessert. but I do have beautiful cookies, and we're gonna take a break here, and when I come back, I'm gonna show you my cookie board and give you a little bit of info on the background of these gorgeous sugar cookies. Okay, well, I still don't have my cookies on this platter, but I am working on it. It has been a very, very busy week, and I think all too often we use that as an excuse to not actually have fun. And here's another question of the day. I sometimes feel like I don't have enough fun in my life, and that was an epiphany that I had over my sabbatical. And look at these cute cookies, by the way. Are these not absolutely precious? Now, I did not bake these. I did not go to a bakery to get these. What do? I just exploit the talents of my best friends. And Jen up at Bricks, who is an absolute superwoman. Aren't these cute, Stuart?
They are just cool looking.
They're just beautiful. And I didn't really even have time to make a big flower arrangement, so these cookies are going to be my arrangement. Just another, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. But these cookies are almost perfect. And I just discovered the other day that Jen bakes, as well as she's the pumpkin queen. She can cook. There's probably nothing she can't do in addition to helping me style pumpkins in the front yard. So let me just tell you a little bit about Jen. She is, she is like the best form of someone in a movie that you think would be the really cool farmer's wife who can absolutely do everything. Not only can she grow her own pumpkin, she can grow all of her own veggies. She can grow her own okra to make pickled okra. She can grow her own peppers to make spicy salsa. She can just kind of do it all. So just when I thought that she didn't have any more talents in her coffers, I discovered that she could make these beautiful cookies. And I thought, okay, there is my dessert solution. There's my dessert solution. I'm not going to make anything for dessert. No brownies, no cookies, no nothing, but I will have these, and I am so happy to support her business. And she will be taking some orders. I've already placed mine for Thanksgiving, and she'll take just a limited number of orders on both her stuff from her farm produce, but also her cookies. Jen, I'm sorry, you didn't know this was going to be all about you, but that's what you get for making such cute cookies. And am I so lucky to have these kind of people in my life? Yes, I am. And it's all the more reason when you have good people in your life to take the opportunity to treat them and entertain. And so that's what I wanted to do. I've been reading The Barefoot Contessa, her memoir, and if anything sticks with me, it's that you should have fun at your own parties. And sometimes if you're working too much, you don't have fun at your own party. Well, by not doing anything yourself, that's how I think you can have fun. So my strength sometimes is just providing a beautiful venue and a beautiful garden in which I can entertain. And then a lot of the other stuff is just potluck. So after I finish this, I'm going to share with you a little bit about what's on your menu and more of the things that I am not going to be doing myself as I entertain this evening. I know. And look at this one. This one has like gilt on it. And but then it's like, oh, but do you eat any? And Stuart has been eyeing them. I did give you a little taste. And I said, okay, once we take the pictures of this, because these cookies are perfect.
There'll be a few missing.
And once we get a few pictures of these, then there might be a few missing. Okay, isn't that absolutely beautiful there? And it looks impressive, just up on a cutting board with feet, and then just one of these rattan baskets that I like so much. And this will be my corner ensemble. I always like to have something really impressive here on the corner of the island, and nothing is more impressive than really gorgeous sugar cookies. Maybe I can get her to share the recipe. If not, I will share one of my favorite shortbread cookie recipes, maple inspired. So I'll try to remember to do that. So let's take a break here, and then I'll be back and tell you about the rest of the menu. Well, another little juicy nugget of wisdom is, in addition to not letting the perfect be the enemy of the good, the other thing that I have realized as I have gotten older is, you know what, Linda, you don't have to do everything. I love the look of these kind of sugar cookies. And I have tried to make them in the past, and sometimes I had passing results. The thing is that I know about decorated sugar cookies is I want the finished product. I don't enjoy the process. Some people do. And you know what? I'm giving myself a pass. That's okay. If you don't like doing it, then let somebody else do it. Let them earn a living doing it. Because Stuart was asking me questions about, well, how does she get the edges so perfect? And how does it not go over the sides? And I said, Stuart, I don't know, because I don't do this. So I hope none of you are disappointed if you see the thumbnail or you see some of these images and you think, oh, today Linda is going to show us how to make beautiful sugar cookies. Au contraire. No, I am not. I am going to show you how to not make beautiful sugar cookies and let someone else who can do it better, more efficiently, more beautifully, and more effectively, and more importantly, they enjoy doing it. That is the person that needs to be baking beautiful sugar cookies like this. I am the happy recipient, and I will happily display them on the corner of my island. So that is my tip number 2, is don't feel like you need to do everything, because the older I get, the more I realize I want to enjoy things. I don't want to do it all. And it's great if you enjoy the process, but if you don't enjoy the process, then just circumvent it and get somebody else to do the work. Okay, now what else am I doing to circumvent any kind of stress I would have about entertaining tonight? Well, first of all, okay, I've got my hot dogs, I've got my weenies. You can never have too many weenies, the sign said. Let's put the sign up right here, Stuart. But the other thing that I did was, when my friends ask, can I bring anything? 99% of the time I say yes. And this is an entertaining tip. Why? Because number 1, it makes it easier for me. Number 2, they then don't feel guilty or always feel as if they have to reciprocate your entertaining them if they contribute to whatever it is that you're serving. And not only that, now my good friends know this is how it works. Linda provides the beautiful venue, and all of us will provide, or the majority at least, of the goodies. So when my bestie Deborah said, what can I bring? I said, oh, you can bring baked beans, because you've got to serve baked beans, don't you, Stuart? You've got to have really good baked beans. To me, it's one of the joys of life. I don't make them. I don't have the time to make them, but she will happily bring them. So that's number 2. I got the cookies covered. Now I've got the baked beans covered. Okay, the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to serve kind of a tray of condiments. Did I make the condiments? No, I did not. I did not make any of them, but thankfully Jen came to the rescue again too. And this was the inspiration also for serving this kind of meal, was because she has all sorts of wonderful delicacies. So she has made, and now I don't know what I did with them. Stuart, excuse me, let me come back here. I moved them. So one thing I did for a birthday gift recently for a friend of mine was, you know, at a certain age, we all have enough stuff. We really don't need too many more things, but anything that is delicious and consumable makes a great gift. And so I just had, because this is part of her business, I had Jen put together a whole basket of goodies, some of which I showed you earlier: pickled okra, spicy salsa verde, dill pickles, blackberry jam, peach jam. I had a basket filled with all of these goodies, also with a little bit of an explanation of how she had prepared them. So I thought, well, they not only will be good for a gift, but they will be good on a platter. So I'm going to make a platter of pickled okra, dill pickle. I'm going to take some of this delicious cowboy candy that she made. No, I do not know the recipe, but Jen might be willing to share it with you. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to chop it up a little bit, and I'm just going to pour it over a block of cream cheese. Won't that be good as an appetizer? It'll be delicious. All of those jalapenos came from her garden. And then I am just going to serve them with some crackers and things that I normally would never eat. I would probably not even serve them, but that kind of thing tastes really good with chicken in a biscuit. This is all about flashback to the 50s, you guys. And I'll serve that on a platter, and I think it'll be really good as an appetizer and kind of as a side dish. The other thing that I never eat, but I think is important in rounding out this menu, and that's, as I said earlier, I've got me some Lay's potato chips, some barbecue potato chips, and these will be fun to just have in bowls. Now, the other thing that I want to make, which, true confession, it might get made and it might not get made. And that is, I wanted to make some potato salad. And right here, I am going to put up the recipe for a healthy potato salad that may or may not get made. I don't know. It kind of just depends on how much time I have in the course of a day. And you may say, Linda, you know, you need to have better time management. Well, yes, that's true. But you know what? If I waited for perfect time management to get everything done, I would never entertain. And entertaining, as I have told you, is one of the things that was my goal for when I moved to the cottage. So by golly, I am going to do that whether or not I have the time, if that makes any sense. So, which is more important to me? Having a big chunk of time where I could perhaps make something to serve tonight, or taking the time this morning, 45 minutes to an hour, of visiting with some people who just came by the garden. And they needed some companionship. So which was more important? I can buy really good potato salad, or I could take that time and I could make it. If I have the time to make it, that's wonderful. That's an additional perk. That's extra credit. But if, because I chose to visit with somebody in my garden, which I do love to do, then you know what? Store-bought, deli-bought is good enough. And that's why I married Hubs, so that he could go and get those kind of things if at the last minute I decided that I just didn't have the bandwidth. So that's pretty much what's on the menu for tonight. It couldn't be easier. Obviously, I will have all of the goodies that go along with hot dogs. I've got some really good brat buns and regular white buns, really trash eating, but that's okay. We don't do it very often. I've got pickle relish. I've got all different kinds of mustards. I will have chopped onions. I am not a fan of chili on my hot dogs, and neither really is Hub, so we decided to dispense with that. I may or may not have sauerkraut to put on it. I kind of do like that on a brat. I've got some really good German mustard that I also bought at a local deli, and that's just how it's going to come together, you guys. The treat will be in the companionship. The treat will be in listening to the music that another friend of mine will probably pick out, because I'll let them do that too. We will roll open the casement windows, and then we will be able to enjoy it all in the backyard. It won't be perfect. There may be flies, there may be a few mosquitoes, but the weather will be nice enough for us to sit around that fire pit, because when the sun goes down, indeed, we will light that fire pit, because how do you roast a weenie without a fire? So let's take a break here, and I'll kind of show you my easy setup that we've got for outside. We'll be just serving iced tea, regular beverages. We'll have some wine and beer for those who want to imbibe. It's only going to be a group of about 8, but I think it's going to be fun. So let me show you where we're going to do the celebrating. And here we are in my outdoor living room. One of my favorite places to be now in the fall, because it really does live up to my vision of what I wanted it to be. And enhancing that vision and really engaging all of my senses is this kind of wall of piñon. We had a guy bring some down from Santa Fe, and boy, Stuart was, oh, you can smell it. When the sun hits it, you can really smell it, even when it's not burning. And in short order, this firewood stack will go down pretty quickly. But we've got it here both for the solo fire pit in the back, and then we can also use it mixed in with some regular hardwood in the fireplace in the great room. So it's all within easy navigation, easy access. Now, I also wanted to point this out to you because this is where you may or may not recall, I had a window box right here that had begonias and boxwood balls of Vater boxwood in there, but I removed it so it then accesses this space right here. There is a bench below here, a metal bench below here, and I'll try to put the link if I can, and that's what the wood is stacked on. So that's why there's this configuration of the railing, and that's why I left this open with no railing here so that we could easily access the firewood. And in the summer, I've got that window box here to kind of give this a sense of enclosure, but in the cool season, I've got my wood there. So that's just a fun little thing. And I love the way, this gives me great joy. I love the way geraniums look with wood, a stack of wood. I have just always liked that vignette. And even my geraniums are starting to bloom a little bit more. It's still not really cool, but it's definitely cool enough if I keep them deadheaded so that they will continue to bloom. So here is my very simple table setup out here. I just pulled, this is the advantage of having linens in your entertainment closet ready to go. It's no work at all. I just pulled out the napkins that were already pressed, even if that was just hand pressed. And even though this tablecloth doesn't completely fit the table, that's okay. And I can secure it. It's not really very windy today, but there's a little bit of a breeze that periodically blows up my tablecloth with my silencer underneath. But then I've got these tablecloth secures. Now, ideally, they would push all the way in, but I've got a lip here that prevents that. But it's okay. I don't care. It still serves its purpose. And later on, when we start bringing things out, there'll be something here that's weighted enough to hold down the corners. I've got my weenie sticks. You can see they have been well loved, even though they're clean, and they have this kind of...
Oh, know your color.
Yeah, you'll know your color, and it will also prevent your hand from getting hot because it's got this coating on the end. So that's kind of fun. Now, if I was having kiddos, let me get over here in the shade. If I was having kiddos, I probably, instead of having cookies, I probably would have done a whole s'mores thing. But in this case, I wanted the cookies, and I think that'll be fine. I just pulled some lanterns out of the basement and added candles that it's cool enough now that I don't think those candles are going to melt through the rest of the day. Not something I could do in the summer. And it's just really easy peasy. And I can use this basket to carry in and out condiments, chips, things like that. So it's all very easy. And then over here, have I mentioned that it's easy? Have I mentioned that I don't want to put a lot of, I want to put thought into it, but not a lot of work, because I don't want something to be an impediment to my just going ahead and doing it. So my table is set up out here. When the time is right, we'll have food and things over here with my little fly swatters that I have showed you before. Hubs will be getting some ice, and we'll fill this with ice and beer and beverages. That will be nice. You can see what my wood pile looks like from this vantage point and the bench. And yes, it's kind of crowding my Japanese maple a little bit, but over time, the Japanese maple will be limbed up and pruned through. So the branches will be just very sinewy and arching, and it won't be kind of like an overgrown shrub the way it is now. So I see that I see that in my vision. And then there will be music that just cascades out of the windows that we will have open. In the evening, it will be cool enough that we'll be able to have those open. And what else do I need to show here? I'm not cooking a lot, but I did make my preparations. So the piñon wood is ready to go. I've got the fire starters. I will put a link to the fire starters below. They work really well. I've got our poker for the said fire. And then what am I missing, Stuart?
Chairs?
Just the chairs. I've showed you these before. These, in fact, darling Leah, we miss her, but she had been using these for a party and she just brought them back so I can use them for my party. We just kind of share around. I have staged the topiary theater with just a few pumpkins. And there's a few pumpkins that march up and down the back porch. But other than that, there's not a lot going on back here. It's just the natural inherent beauty. I do want to take a moment to brag on my herb box though, because it looks pretty spectacular. It smells divine. Smells divine. The little jack-o'-lantern is up there. I'll put a little light in there. But this,
look at all this.
I know, isn't it just happy? Once I figured out the watering issue, it was very happy. So, yeah, so this is my dream made manifest. I've got this wonderful Chef's Choice rosemary out here. It's all good too. And it looks great. And everything out here is fragrant. So again, it's a very sensual experience, I think, to be out here. Can you smell it? Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's just delicious. And if I go like this with the basil, then another scent wafts through. So it's really, really fun. I hope all of my guests enjoy it. I will put a link to all of these things that you might want to use if you are entertaining outside. I'll see if I can find some weenie sticks. So I'll put the fire starters. I will put the bug zappers. I'll put the tablecloth supports. Anything else we can think of, Stuart. If I've forgotten it, I'm sure you guys will tell me. Thank you for hanging out with me. I mean, definitely, even this video certainly was scatterbrained. It was not perfect, but I hope you enjoyed it because it's all about not letting the perfect be the enemy of the good and just going ahead and, like that Nike ad says, just do it. So since I just did my Better Me workout today, now I can just eat some of those Lay's potato chips. You guys take care.